Hey, howdy folks, Rampage here to take a look at Raw for August 22nd, the show after SummerSlam. So let's take a look at the card. We start off with Foley in the ring with Stephanie McMahon. They're talking about the injury to Finn Balor. They do bring out Finn Balor, who basically comes out, gives a great speech about thanking everyone for the opportunity, confirming his shoulder injury. Going to be out probably 4 to 6 months, they're saying at this point, for the shoulder surgery. Because basically he dislocated the shoulder in the course of the match, popped it back in himself, and then continued wrestling. Crazy. He does vacate the title. You can see he doesn't want to give it up. Foley sort of walks over and puts a hand on the title to take it. And he's and he doesn't want to let go, and he finally does. And Foley sort of gives him a little hug, sends him on his way. At which point, as he's making his way up the ramp, and Seth Rollins comes out at that last moment, sort of looks at him laughing, and walks down to the ring. He is ready to accept the title. Before he can actually get on the mic, we have Sami Zayn show up. Sami Zayn comes down, he gets ready to speak, and Jericho comes out. Followed by Owens, followed by Enzo and Cass, followed by Roman Reigns. Everyone wants a shot at the Universal title. So, Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley decide they're going to hold a series of matches to determine who the new Universal Champion is. We have 4 matches throughout the course of the night. The winners of those matches move on to a fatal 4-way next week. And the winner of that match will be the Universal Champion. The first match of the evening we have is Seth Rollins taking on Sami Zayn. And this match is basically everything you'd expect it to be. Both of them are very quick on their feet. Lots of sort of high-fly, agile moves. However, shortly into the match, Sami Zayn does one of those spots where he whips Seth Rollins into the ropes and does the hop over him. Sort of backwards, but he lands awkwardly, it looks like he rolls his ankle. I don't know if this is a work or this is legit. I really don't like the idea that if Finn's hurt the first match out, they have a fake injury angle on this. But Zayn basically shakes it off and spends the rest of the match sort of hobbling around, trying not to put weight on the ankle. It costs him a bunch of moves. In the end, Seth Rollins does get the win with the pedigree. So Seth Rollins moves on. He is the first of 4 people who are going to be fighting for the Universal title next week on Raw. From there, we have Kevin Owens comes out, and his opponent is going to be someone who wasn't out in the first segment. He's going to take on Neville. Why is Neville here? I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was a fun match. I always enjoy the two of them squaring off, both being former NXT champions. I really liked the way their styles matched because they both sort of have a good agility, but Owens sort of comes in with more power compared to Neville's sort of speed. In the end, Kevin Owens does take the win. Basically, the Fireman's carry into a neckbreaker, which I'm pretty sure is the exact same move that Nikki Bella uses her finisher at SummerSlam. So now we have Kevin Owens stealing moves from Nikki Bella. What's going on? This is 2016, folks, and we don't know what's going on in wrestling anymore. From there, we have a crazy New Day promo. They come out, they celebrate Big E's return. He came out with a giant bowl and ladle, and he was ladling Booty-O's into people's hands in the crowd on their way to the ring. It was kind of weird. They also had a unicorn piñata they were set to use for the celebration. Shortly after they go out there and they go through all the rigmarole, we've got Anderson and Gallows show up, and they're like, hey, this is stupid. What are you celebrating? You lost last week. Sure, you're still champions, but you got yourselves DQ and Big E showed up and attacked everybody. So, we're still in line for title shots. Which basically, at that point, Carl Anderson challenges Big E to a match, and that's what we have come up next. I like this. This was an entire match of Carl Anderson working over the leg of Big E Langston, which I thought was cool. We're getting a little more psychology this week than we usually do. However, in the end, Big E does take the win with a big ending, with Luke Gallows basically being knocked out on the outside when he's squaring off with Kofi and Xavier Woods. But he didn't just like pick him up. He did this sort of almost like a tilt-a-whirl up into the big ending and dropped him. So that was really cool. From there, we have Titus O'Neil comes out and rather awkwardly cuts a promo, basically running down Darren Young, running down the Primetime Players, saying that it's like if it wasn't for the Primetime Players, he'd already be Universal Champion. Really awkward stuff there, especially since he was the squeaky clean babyface not too long ago. He was pushed down our throats as Mr. Father of the Year, and now we have Angry Titus, who basically calls out Darren Young, and when no one shows up, he's like, I know what's going on, this is Bob Backlund's holding him out, you know what, Bob Backlund, blah blah blah, starts running down Bob Backlund, and Bob Backlund shows up. And he shows up, starts throwing fists with Titus. They brawl for a little bit. Bob Backlund actually gets him sort of in the crossface, but Titus fights out of it. He's pounding on Backlund. Darren Young shows up to defend Bob Backlund's honor, and he gets laid out as well. So we have Angry Titus O'Neil, Father of the Year, standing tall at the end of that segment. Really weird. Not quite sure what to make of that. I don't know. I'm not so digging Angry Titus, but I'm not the biggest Titus O'Neil figure either. From there, we have Rusev taking on Big Cass. Rusev's got his ribs taped up after SummerSlam, where him and Reigns had the big brawl, where Rusev kept attacking the ribs, hit the spear. So what do we get? We have Big Cass working over the ribs. It's simple psychology, but it worked. We have a story flowing through all these matches. There's a reason people are fighting, and we have a distinct story that they're fighting through. I don't know what the change backstage at Raw was, but I love it. It's simple storytelling, it's psychology, and I love it. Cass essentially pounds on Rusev's ribs till he basically rolls out of the ring and basically says, screw this, it's not worth it, and he walks away with Lana. Cass gets the count-out win, and Cass moves on. We got 3 of our 4 people for the Fatal 4-Way next week. We've got Rollins, Owens, and now Big Cass. After that, we have Charlotte come out. Basically, as she's walking towards the ring, you see Dana Brooke with a little sign, "Where's the boss?" And she tosses that, which I thought was kind of funny, because Sasha Banks isn't around. They're talking about Sasha Banks being injured, her back being hurt at this point. I haven't seen any reports on it yet, so I don't know how much of this is storyline versus how much like her back actually is messed up from taking that bump at SummerSlam. I hope she's okay. I hope we see her soon. Charlotte basically runs down that she beat Sasha, she's beaten everybody, she's the top dog, and basically cuts a promo with Dana Brooke by her side and goes to leave. As she goes to step out of the ring, Foley's music hits, Foley comes down, and he's like, whoa, 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 just hold your horses for a minute. He's like, you know what, being general manager isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It's got some hard spots, like taking that title away from Finn wasn't an easy thing to do. But he says this is the bright spot that he gets, and he gets to introduce the newest member of the Raw roster, the hottest free agent in wrestling today. We bring out Bayley. And it's amazing. She comes out, she's got super shiny tights, even shinier than the one she had in NXT. Super exuberant. She comes out on the ramp, and you can see she's just super happy to be there. She actually forgets to throw up the her arms to bring up the wacky inflatable waving tube men, and someone hits the cue anyways, and they go off, and she sort of backs up, looks at them, and does the motion anyways. It's absolutely adorable. She makes her way down to the ring, basically with the whole "I'm super happy to be here." It's funny because she goes to one corner of the ring looking for the mic, and they realize that it's at the other corner, so she has to go, they'll sort of hold on a minute, go over there, get the mic. Thanks Foley for bringing her out there, thanks him for signing her. Big happy hug to seal the deal because it's Bayley, lots of hugs. The entire crowd, at least on one side, is filled with printouts that are hugger section signs. I thought it was absolutely amazing. for someone who's been on one WWE pay-per-view, and that's it, to have that kind of a reaction is amazing. Speaks volumes about what the WWE Network does, the number of people that are watching NXT. The general mainstream WWE viewing audience might not watch NXT, but the people that are going to spend money to go to a live event, that Venn diagram overlaps with the people that watch NXT. So you can bring out a new star from NXT and that crowd knows who they are. And if that crowd reacts, the crowd at home can take their cues and know what's going on. And that was amazing. Charlotte basically does the, well, that's great that you're here, but you know what? I'm the champ, and basically, you're nothing around here. Bayley wants a title shot, and Charlotte laughs at her, says you have to earn your way to get that. You're not going to be handed anything. You have to start back at the bottom. And but she's like, you know what? I've got a match for you. You can take on Dana Brooke here. She's always ready to wrestle. That's why she's in her gear, and I'm not in my gear. I've trained her to always be ready. And Bayley readily agrees. You can see Foley agreeing. And Dana Brooke's like, wait, what? What do you mean? Me? No. And she's like, no, you got this. You got this. Go to commercial. We come back. We get Bayley taking on Dana Brooke. I thought it was a fun match. It's Bayley's sort of speed and perseverance versus Dana Brooke's power. We saw all the sort of classic Bayley spots. We saw the sort of the shoulder block in the corner with sort of the backflip into the wacky waving arms, into the running elbow. She does get the win with the Bayley to belly slam, hug slam, whatever you want to call it. We even had the Bayley's gonna hug you chants going during the course of the match. We had the hey, we want some Bayley. We've got the other song they sing in NXT. This crowd knew their stuff. Bayley gets the win on her first match, her debut. It was awesome. Yeah, just awesome. From there, we have Johnny Knockout in the ring. And once again, Byron Saxton is going to interview the next victim of Braun Strowman, who goes, why would you sign up to fight Braun Strowman? Quote, I like big sweaty men. I have no idea where they're going with that. He gets a little bit more offense than most people have against Braun Strowman. Then Braun Strowman basically tosses him around like a rag doll for a few minutes, hits the reverse chokeslam, and gets the pinfall. After that, he continues beating on Johnny Knockout. Hits something like, picks him up like the big ending, but sort of drops him and rolls him as he drops. And demands a second 3 count, so now he has beaten him twice in one night. I am waiting to see Braun Strowman fight real people at this point, or for one of these enhancement talents to step up and basically destroy Braun Strowman as a surprise. One of those two things has to happen, and it has to happen soon. From there, we have the Dudleys come out. And they've announced on Twitter earlier today that they were retiring, that this is their goodbye to the WWE. They came out to older theme music. You saw Bubba Ray go over, shake hands with the announcers. And they basically thank the fans for letting them go out on their own terms. Sure, they haven't been winning matches recently, but there are a few people that need to go out when they want to go out and not be forced out. And they appreciate that. They thank the fans for that. At which point, you've got Primo and Epico, the Shining Stars, show up. And they basically show up, talk a whole bunch of trash, at which point they get into a brawl with the Dudleys. They hit the 3D. They hit the Waz Up head drop on the other one. And you get the moment everyone's been waiting for. Devon, get the tables. Gets the table, set them up. They basically set up to 3D one of the Shining Stars to the table, and they get jumped by Gallows and Anderson. Gallows and Anderson then pick them up, hit the Magic Killer through the table, and we end the segment. A lot of people look at that segment and go, I don't think the Dudleys are retiring. They wouldn't retire on that note. I think the Dudleys did the classiest thing they could on their way out. I think they put over Gallows and Anderson one last time, establishing, hey, these guys are the next generation. I think that's awesome. To see that tonight when I was actually in the arena live on SmackDown in 1999 when the Dudleys premiered. They actually showed up on Sunday Night Heat first, because that taped before SmackDown. I was sitting with my buddy Andy, and these guys come out, and they're wearing, I think it's like blue, white, and gray camouflage at the time. And they came out to the ring, he's like, who the heck are these guys? And I'd been reading the internet, I was reading Lords of Pain back then. I'm like, I think that's the Dudley Boys. And they had their match, it was pretty good. And then probably an hour later, during the SmackDown taping, they got called out and they did the whole introduction for them. And I'm like, aha, I knew it, I was right. And it was super cool to see. So it's been great to sort of see them come full circle in the WWE. At that point, we get our main event of the evening. We have Roman Reigns taking on Chris Jericho. This is sort of the match you'd expect. It's Roman Reigns being the powerhouse, Jericho basically trying to slither and slime his way through the match. Part of the way through, Kevin Owens comes out. Kevin Owens helps distract Roman Reigns a few times. At one point, Reigns' head's draped over the ropes. It's the super kick on him. Jericho follows it up with the code breaker, but he's too far knocked out and he can't quite get the cover in time. To end it though, Roman Reigns does take the spear. He takes out Chris Jericho, gets the 3 count. He's your 4th man fighting for the Universal title next week. So next week we have Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Big Cass, and Roman Reigns fighting for the Universal title. This is 2016, folks, and we have 4 new guys fighting for the title. A year ago, we wouldn't have expected any of these guys in the title picture. I think this is rad. I guess the only other thing to bring up is they do briefly touch on Brock Lesnar, saying there'll be consequences for what he did for F5ing Shane, but they don't touch on what that actually will be. So that's my review of Raw, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Down in the description, you can also find links to my Facebook and my Twitter. Please follow me. I think I'm entertaining. If you're watching this video, you probably do too. Please like, please subscribe, please share. Use the little hashtag Rampage Reviews on social media. It's right there, like on WWE. You know how to use those. And we will see you next time.